So the NFL season is right around the corner. If you know anything about this channel, you know I mainly cover the NFL. And what's the most popular discussion? It's usually about the quarterback position. It goes to Tom Brady, it goes to Patrick Mahomes, it goes to Josh Allen, it goes to Jalen Hurts, it goes to Lamar Jackson, it goes to Joe Burrow. Those are the most popular talking heads or people to talk about in all of the NFL. And out of these top 4 quarterbacks, which is Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, in any order as long as you have Mahomes as one, is a valid opinion. But my point today is, of those 4, what will it do for their career and their resume if they win a ring? Now, in my opinion personally, Jalen Hurts is right outside of this list, but if he makes another All-Pro team or if he wins an MVP or places second in MVP, you can put him over one of these guys, Joe Burrow. But realistically, if I was being honest with you, one of these 4 quarterbacks are going to win a ring this year. One of these 4 quarterbacks are going to cement their names in Canton. They have great resumes already. Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs, should be 3. Josh Allen has an MVP, should be 0. And Joe Burrow beat Mahomes in the AFC Championship, the only quarterback to do so in that game outside of Tom Brady. So with that being said, let's get into this video. This is Oz Sports, y'all. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's get into it. Starting off is what I believe is the least likely to win the Super Bowl this year. Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow goes through the AFC, beats Patrick Mahomes, beats Lamar Jackson, beats Josh Allen on his way to a Super Bowl trophy and possible MVP, this nigga has to be considered bare minimum the second best quarterback in the league, if not number 1. Because this Bengals offensive line is still shitty. Even though I think sacks are usually a quarterback stat, in this case of Joe Burrow, no the fuck it isn't. Because for years and years now, he has been running for his life, but he has been putting up amazing numbers. Last year, he led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns with 4,918 yards, 43 passing touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Granted, the Bengals did not make the playoffs because their defense was fucking Swiss cheese, my nigga. They ranked at the bottom of almost every metric in the NFL last year. And this nigga threw 43 touchdowns and almost 5,000 yards, and they didn't sniff the fucking playoffs. That's crazy in my opinion. Now, I wouldn't go as far to say Joe Burrow has the worst supporting cast because he still has Chase Brown in the backfield. He has the best receiver in the league, and he has T. Higgins. But god damn, I've never seen since Drew Brees a defense be so bad, throw their team down the fucking hill this gosh dang much, man. To the point they don't even make the playoffs, and we had an all-time Joe Burrow season. The Bengals are a 5'2" man with a 19-inch cock, if you feel me. They gonna be in that shit, but they gotta get in that shit. You feel me? You feel me? They gotta get there first. And if Joe Burrow wins a Super Bowl, he'll have to be looked at as a bare minimum top 15 quarterback of all time, a consensus top 2 quarterback in the league, because he got his Super Bowl for Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen in this case. He beat them to the punch. And this would be the second Super Bowl he went to. So I think as a winner, he would have to unanimously almost be the second best quarterback, if not the best quarterback in the league, depending on the numbers he puts up in the regular season and the playoff run. And he'll have a statue outside of Cincinnati, and he'll turn into the most glazed player in the league by far. Not that he already isn't. Then we're going to go to the second least likely to win a Super Bowl this year, in my opinion. Josh Allen. I don't think he deserved the MVP last year, but that's not what this video is about. Josh Allen is a consensus top 3 quarterback in the league. Some people might put him number 2. Me personally, no. It's a little off topic, but Josh Allen's always considered the better passer than Lamar Jackson. What evidence outside of he has more throwing power do we have for that? Like, if we look at it statistically, if we look at it efficiency-wise, where's the fucking evidence of that besides you? Why? Okay. Let me chill. A lot of people already consider him the second best quarterback in the league, and I can't really blame him for that. That's a valid opinion. Now, if he wins a Super Bowl on top of the MVP he got last year, he's gonna be considered the best quarterback in the league by far. Because if he can go into Arrowhead or he can beat Patrick Mahomes, that's finally gonna silence a lot of the critiques on his game. Because he is a great playoff performer, bro. Can be an all-time great regular season performer. But when he plays Patrick Mahomes, everybody's better than Patrick Mahomes till it's time to be Patrick Mahomes. And constantly, Patrick Mahomes has had the worst team sometimes. Patrick Mahomes outplays him and beats him. It's like being in first grade and Uncle John wants you in his bedroom at 9 p.m. He's gonna beat that shit every time. Real shit. My point is, you can try to run, you can try to hide, but Patrick Mahomes is gonna be there, and he's gonna be there this year. And if Josh Allen can rip the quote-unquote monkey off his back, that'll be his biggest accomplishment, more than his MVP. Hell, I think that'll be bigger than winning the fucking Super Bowl if he can finally do that. Because if he wins the Super Bowl, he's considered the best quarterback in the league. You could consider him a top 10 quarterback, because he's been in the top 3 quarterback debate for the last 5 years now, and that is very unprecedented for quarterbacks to do, especially if we're talking about all-time greats. He's been in the MVP conversation for the majority of his career. He's a great passer, great runner, one of the greatest dual threats we've ever seen at the NFL quarterback position. And he puts up great playoff stats, and if he just gets his Super Bowl, his status is cemented forever, and he'll be a Hall of Famer. He'll be heading to Canton. Personally, if he gets a Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson, I love Lamar Jackson, but I'd probably put Josh Allen ahead of Lamar Jackson. I have Lamar Jackson as the 10th greatest quarterback to ever play. Hot take. But I'm gonna say again, he has to get past past Patrick Mahomes. But if Josh Allen does not beat Patrick Mahomes in this playoff run and wins a Super Bowl, there's going to be some questions. There's going to be some annoying conversations y'all niggas are going to be annoyed about all off season. He has to beat Mahomes to win a Super Bowl, point blank, period. If he doesn't, there's going to be some fucking questions, my guy. So with that being said, Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl. He'd be considered one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time, a top 10 quarterback of all time, the best quarterback in the league. And again, he'll have a statue outside of Buffalo forever. So let's get on to the second most likely to win a Super Bowl, Lamar Jackson. Why I believe he's the second is he has the best roster around him. I'd say he's the most talented out of these three so far I mentioned. He is a proven winner. He might not be as good of a playoff performer as Josh Allen, but I think if he puts it together with one run, with all the talent around him, if Derrick Henry was cooking in the playoffs like he was in 2019 with the Titans, if Lamar Jackson can play half as good as he plays in the regular season in the playoffs, they're a strong contender to at least go to the AFC Championship, and they're a strong contender to finally break through to the Super Bowl. He has Mark Andrews, he has Derrick Henry, he has a great head coach, he has a great defense on the other end, and I believe this year it's time for him to go to the Super Bowl. Same with Josh Allen too, but I really feel like this year it's time for Lamar to get to the Super Bowl, and I kind of believe he will. He's my second favorite coming out of the AFC. And not to mention, Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback out of those three so far, in my opinion. Whenever this guy steps on the field, he's electricity in a bottle. He is the most dynamic player in the NFL I think we've ever seen, since people were literally switching from center to outside linebacker. He has 3 first-team All-Pros. He has 2 MVPs. He got first-team All-Pro last year and placed second in the MVP and lost to a quarterback who didn't even make first-team All-Pro. He has 2 1,000 rushing yard years as a quarterback, something no quarterback has ever done. Only one quarterback had one before he came into the league. He led the league in passing touchdowns one year. He is just as dynamic as they will ever get at the quarterback position. He's a consensus winner. Every year he's played for the Baltimore Ravens and played all year. They won 10 plus games except his rookie year. Every year he makes a case for top 3 quarterback in the league. But if Lamar Jackson can put up great regular season numbers, go into the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl, and win the Super Bowl for Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, he's a consensus top 10 quarterback of all time. And it'll take a while for Joe Burrow or Josh Allen to catch up to him, because he'll have 1 more MVP over both of them, 2 over Joe Burrow, and a Super Bowl over them as well. It's kind of like Peyton Manning right now, where he has a bunch of individual accolades, great individual numbers, but the playoff success is just not there. And once he breaks through and gets that playoff success, he will be a top 10 quarterback of all time. Me personally, I already have him top 10, but he'll be at least top 8 because he is so damn talented. All he does is win, and he has a great roster around him to win multiple Super Bowls, but he's not number 1. We all know who the hell that is. The most likely to win a Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback in NFL history. If you argue Aaron Rodgers, that's fair. If you argue Dan Marino, that's fair. If you even argue Brett Favre, maybe. But if we're talking about passing ability, if we're talking about arm talent, if we're talking about accuracy, it goes to Patrick Mahomes, really. Through these first 8 years, it has been monster season after monster playoff run. Yes, these last 2 years hasn't been normal for him. Through his first 7 years of his career, Patrick Mahomes has thrown 245 touchdown passes. That's 35 touchdown passes per year. He's top 5 in touchdown to interception ratio. He averages the most passing yards per game. He almost leads the NFL in every metric possible since entering the league. He dominates the playoffs. He's arguably, if not the greatest playoff performer of all time. His playoff stats are fucking ridiculous, seriously. 46 touchdowns to 10 interceptions in the playoffs, something Tom Brady never came close to doing. 3 Super Bowl MVPs already, 2 league MVPs, 1-time Offensive Player of the Year, and he got an MVP vote 5 of the 7 years he's been in the league, and has made 7 consecutive AFC championships, something that is so unprecedented in the NFL. Nobody has seen that before, and not to mention, he's the only person to win 2 Super Bowls and then go back to the third one to try to get a 3-peat. We all know what happened there. And if we are being so honest right now, this is the greatest quarterback peak in NFL history when it comes to statistical dominance, when it comes to playoff dominance, when it comes to accolades, when it comes to Super Bowls we've ever seen. Not even Tom Brady had a stretch this fucking dominant. And if we're being honest, it's only between him, Montana, and Tom Brady. And through these 7 years, he's only 20 touchdown passes behind Joe Montana. He is not competing with the last 3 I said. He is competing with the GOATs of the GOATs. He is competing with top 20 NFL players of all time. He's already a top 5 quarterback ever. He could retire today and be a first ballot Hall of Famer tomorrow. And he's one of the greatest players to ever touch a football. This span of dominance is insane. It's unprecedented. But if he won another Super Bowl after last year getting dominated by the Eagles, he's the second greatest quarterback of all time. If you argue he's the first, I get it, because as a player, you can't argue Tom Brady as a player was better than Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady executed the game at such a high level, his talent didn't fucking matter. That's how Tom Brady played. Patrick Mahomes executed executes the game at such a high level and is the most talented quarterback of all time, he's just the better player on the field because execution and talent just meet, and it's great. If Brett Favre had the execution of Tom Brady, that is Patrick Mahomes playing. With that being said, if Patrick Mahomes wins another Super Bowl, he's already going to have a statue outside of Arrowhead. That'll be his 4th Super Bowl to go along with his 2 MVPs, his 5 All-Pro teams, having the greatest per-throw playoff stats of all time, being one of the clutchest players in NFL history, and his dominance over the AFC being so unprecedented that he'll be a top 2 quarterback of all time, and there will be people arguing he is the greatest quarterback of all time. But that's going to be the end of this video, y'all. I appreciate y'all's support. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all boys later. Peace.